All righty. Welcome to another edition, the first of the week, September. No, September? What is this? July
July.
29th.
You even jumped
July
over August.
29th. I'm all over the place. July 29th. Welcome to the Option Genius show. Today our main topic is the threat to options trading. There have been a couple shots made across the bow of options trading. We're going to talk about those, see which ones are we'll see. Okay. But there are some things to talk about, and there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the markets that we need to discuss a little bit. Fed just had their meeting. Um, they did not change the rates as they um, were like to do, and we expected. At least we did. um,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and their statement was exactly the same as last month. So no real change. And the vote was 9-3, nine voting to keep rates the way they are, three actually voting to raise a quarter point. So there are still some people that are looking to raise, but nobody wanted to cut. So that is interesting. Um, that based on the news, markets are moving higher. They're still down on the day all across the board, but they are moving higher since the news came out. Oil itself is now up 7% to almost $85 a barrel. Gold is up 1%. VIX is up now over 18, almost 19. And yeah, Bitcoin's up almost 1%. So I don't know if this was I mean, I guess it's good news that they
Yeah,
did not.
I I don't think I think they're in a tough spot, right? They can't they may want to raise rates a little bit, I think, based on the economy. The war is the big issue here, I think, right? We don't know if this is going to escalate further. And I think there's that's a big weight over everything that we're looking at for the market.
Yeah. So we do have, I mean, they're talking about raising rates. Why? Because of inflation. Things are still expensive. Why are they still expensive? Number one is probably because of oil. It's not just oil, it's also diesel, it's also ethanol, it's also other distillates that come from that part of the world. We've had escalation last week. We're back at it. We have Iran now attacking first for like maybe the first time.
Unprovoked
I mean, it's a
to
war.
some
They're in the
degree,
middle of a war.
right?
I wouldn't say it's
Well, they
unprovoked
said it
either.
was the most recent attack was a surprise attack, as they
Well,
like.
yeah, because they've
Say what
never
you want about that, right?
right. But Iran has not really attacked first in all of this. They get attacked, then they reply, and then they reply, and so I don't know who's like this time the US was like, okay, we're not gonna attack anymore. So in their minds, it was like, okay, if we're not gonna attack, they're not gonna attack, everything's fine. And all of a sudden, hey, what are you doing? Like surprise. So yes, that was but I mean, we could talk about this for hours, but the situation is not good. Iran is not stupid. They have internet. They know the state of politics in this country. They know the midterms are coming up. They know Trump's ratings. They know how desperate the Republicans are to hold on to the few seats that
Right.
they
They're going to hold on, of course, at all costs.
and if it was Iran or if I was Iran, there's no way I'm ending this war right now. Hell no. You
At
attack
all.
me, I'm going to take you down.
Yeah, they probably that's
It's
what they're
like, yeah,
doing.
I can wait till after November to have a ceasefire. Yeah, we can do that afterwards. Until then, let's keep going, baby. And so Trump got really mad, expletives, curse words in his tweets, and we're gonna bomb him. We're gonna bomb him big. We're bombing him big. So
Yeah, there's some serious words there that we
yeah,
can't
so they're
just
gonna they're gonna bomb him big again, which I thought they were been doing all this time. Otherwise, why are you doing it? If you're gonna bomb somebody, bomb them big and get it over with, right?
right. They're utterly destroyed.
They were utterly destroyed. Everything was destroyed. Their navy was destroyed. Their Air Force deployed. Their defense was destroyed. So then how the hell are they still attacking ships?
Yeah,
Three more ships were attacked.
by
Um,
drones.
and then now they got the other side. So the Hormuz is blocked. Okay, that's done. I mean, and then now the what are the Houthis?
The,
Houthis are
the
blocking the other
Houthis,
strait on the other side.
Bob L something Med
Yeah,
Street. Yes, the other one.
yeah. So I mean, so you have like, well, the numbers were like you had about 20 million barrels a day coming out of Hormuz that was blocked. So the UAE and the Saudis, they, finished their pipelines to move their oil to the other side and to go out of the other strait. And so out of the 20 million, they were able to move 13 million barrels. So the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Okay, that only takes out 7 million barrels a day because the other 13 are going the other way. But now the Houthis are attacking over there. So if that shuts down, then we're back to losing 20 million barrels a day. So things are, yeah, really bad in that situation. And
Right. So
so
am I incorrect that the only way they can move it is through the Suez Canal at that
they
point?
can move it through the Suez Canal, but the Suez Canal is not large enough to take the biggest of the ships.
Hmm. So then
And
you're having a real problem and costs going up for that.
Obviously, because it's a
Obviously.
much longer route for
Mhm.
one, and then if you can't use the biggest ships, then you don't have as many of the smaller ships. So the smaller ships have to run back and forth. So you're not gonna, it's not you're not gonna get as many barrels out as fast as you can, as fast as you want.
Right.
And we're already talking about diesel prices going up. We're already talking about countries in Asia, countries in Europe, where they're cutting back on electricity because they don't have enough natural gas or they don't have enough diesel or whatever distillates to burn. So they're cutting back on driving, they're cutting back on electricity, they're cutting back on AC. I mean, it's becoming very miserable in a lot of places. And that's, I think, one of the reasons you have like Pakistan being trying to be like, hey guys, let's have some truce. Let's have some truce. Let me mediate for you because I need the freaking gasoline, man.
I mean, at some point we're going to reach the critical levels. I mean, if we're not already.
Supposedly, we have 3 weeks. We have three
Okay.
weeks before the world is at a major crisis point, because most of the that strategic reserve is used up.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
lowest since the 80s, right?
Yeah. So we shipped ours. Other countries also agreed at that time, and they shipped it. Everybody shipped it, their stuff out together, and that's why oil did not rocket over past 100. We also had China buying 5 million barrels a day, and I think Trump got them to stop. Trump talked to Xi Yi about it, and
Yeah.
I think he got them to stop doing that. Um, but now you also have Ukraine and Ukraine is winning against Russia, supposedly, at least air superiority, and they're attacking Russian ships. They're attacking Russian oil transports. They're attacking Russian refineries deep in the heart of Russia. Um,
They become quite experts in drones.
they are the drone wonder
Experts of
world,
the, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
They're now attacking Iranian ships. Like, what the hell, man? Like,
Well,
you
they
get
say that was a mistake. That was a
was it? It
mistake.
was a mistake. How do you make
Or
a
was it?
mistake?
Yeah.
Like your enemy is like over there on the left side, and your drone goes all the way on the right side. Like, no, that was not a mistake. What the hell?
But we were talking about earlier, it was so interesting. I didn't realize that close Iran is to the Ukraine and Russia.
In terms of distance, right? Yeah.
Distance, the Caspian Sea is the only thing that is in between.
Mm.
So it's a lot closer than we think.
It is. It is. The world is a lot tighter than we think. Especially over there. I mean, we're in the US, so it's kind of like, oh man, I got to drive from one country, one side to the other. We don't realize how big it is. You
No,
know?
no,
Um,
definitely insulated a little bit. But
yeah. So yeah. But so that this is a much deeper topic, but just going on today, what's going on? Markets are S&P's down about 0.3%, so 22 points, so 7,400 is where it's at, close to Russia. Rut's down a little bit. Nasdaq is down a bit. Dow Jones is down 1% over 1%. So I think the market, at least the Nasdaq is almost recovered. It was down, now it's almost back to zero. But
I mean, we had the war, of course, which we just talked about. You have some big earnings coming out tomorrow. or
You
tonight
got huge earning.
and
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you got Meta and Microsoft tonight, and then you got Amazon and somebody else tomorrow, and the whole earnings season. We're in it. Like, the whole S&P is going to repair earnings within the next couple weeks. And so this is a very, very volatile time. The AI trade itself is falling out of bed. The Microns, the SanDisks, they're down 30, 40, 50%. Even the companies that were like the industrials, like Caterpillar, and the companies that were making the data centers, their stocks are falling.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like, okay, where do we stop? Where do we stop going down? Um, and so, we talk about, hey, the market doesn't just drop all of a sudden. It doesn't go straight into a bear market. It will have a small drop. It will then stabilize, and then it will have a larger drop. Now, we did have a small drop last couple of weeks. I don't know if that qualifies, and I don't know if this is the stabilizing process.
Hmm.
But there is several things on the horizon that could very easily take us down 15, 20%. And it does look like it's starting to get there. So I think we should probably do that in our next show, maybe on Friday, where we come up with the whole list of what what is concerning to
Yeah,
us
what
right
could be
now.
the potential catalyst, right, for
Yeah,
this
and
drop?
then we can take a look at it and go back and forth, pros and cons of all that stuff. But for today, the big issue, what we're talking about, is something that is not going to affect the markets, but it will affect options trading in a major, major way. Um, and so this is something that I think, I heard about it and I'm like, whoa, that's going to change a lot of trading behavior, what we're talking about today. And so it might lead to a lot of institutions mainly to move away from options and to use this instrument instead. And so if they move away from options, then obviously that takes out a lot of volume, a lot of liquidity. And so that will be detrimental to us as option sellers because the more people that are trading, the more liquidity, the more we can get in and out with better spreads, better pricing, but also better premium the
Mhm.
more things are traded. The less the volume, the less premium overall. So I do not like this news, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So we gotta spill the beans here, and we gotta show everybody what it is. Um, and so what was it on Monday?
So yeah, Monday, um, CME launched single stock futures on 55 big American stocks. So we're talking big ones, right? So pitch them. So you can make bullish or bearish bets on these options. So that was the
Well, these
first
are not, I mean, these are single stock futures. So
futures.
it's a
Yes.
futures contract, but it's on a stock. So it's not a oil, it's not a gold, it's not a soybeans. It's an actual Alphabet, Tesla, Nvidia,
NVIDIA. Yeah.
Apple, and it's a futures contract. And so because of that, it trades, about what, 23 hours a day,
Yeah. It said 23 hours a day.
right?
Yeah.
And because it's a futures contract, you can go long and you can go short. And because it's a futures contract, you also get the tax benefit. It's a 1256 tax income tax on the rule. And so 60% of your gains are taxed at the short term at the long-term rate and 40% at the short-term rate. So you get that tax benefit. And because it's a futures contract, you also get span margin.
Mm.
So you can do a lot more contracts with less money because you can use more leverage. Now, that's also a double-edged sword, but the fact that it does give you more margin allows you to trade much bigger in size. And the fact that it's 24 or 23 hours a day means that even in the middle of the night, if something happens, you can just get in, exit your position, or move it around or do whatever. So I think this is a definite threat to options trading on At least those 55 right now, and those 55 are the biggest ones. So they make up the biggest bulk of the S&P. They make the biggest bulk of the Nasdaq. So, um, you know, in the past, you have earnings coming out in a stock, right? And maybe you're long and you're like, "Hey, I want to protect myself, so I'm going to buy some puts." Okay, well that put costs you money, right? You pay the premium. You pay a premium to buy the put, right?
Hmm.
It also has elevated premium right now because it's earnings season, and so the IV is higher, and so you're paying more than normal, and you already know that. And then it also has an expiration, and there also has theta decay. So if you choose the wrong expiration, you're paying too much money. If you choose it too short, maybe you mess up and it doesn't help you. All that goes away with a futures contract. So if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I want to protect my position. Okay, I can either buy puts or I could just short the futures contract. And so I don't need to pay any money to get into the futures contract. I have plenty of leverage. I don't have to worry about theta decay. I don't have to worry about expiration because these things don't expire.
Yeah,
They
no
just keep
expiration.
going. Um, and so the only reason I will lose money on this short is if the stock goes up. And if the stock goes up, then my stock that, I own the stock, that's what I'm protecting, that will go up. And so I won't really lose anything. Now, if the stock on earnings goes down, then this hedge protected me and I really didn't have to pay anything for it, right?
So
So,
yeah,
I mean, okay, why would I buy a put protection? Like it just takes that whole equation out the window. So this is definitely a threat. And then the other side on the 29th, and this was basically okay, so we have to understand who the players are, right?
right. Yeah.
So there's CBOE, which is the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. These guys run all the options, stock options, equity options, all the index options, the SPX, the Nasdaq, all them. They run all of those. We're talking about CME, the Chicago
Yeah.
Mercantile Exchange. These guys run all the futures and futures options. So, if you want to trade oil, if you want to trade gold contracts, if you want to trade E-minis, and any of these single stock futures that we're talking about, this is all run by the
Same
futures
here.
exchange, which is a CME. Then on the other side, you have the government, which is the CFTC and the SEC. So SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, they're overseeing the stock side and the equity
Right.
side.
Hmm.
Then you have CFTC, which is Commodity Futures Trading whatever something commission. They oversee all the futures and the CME group. And so the CFTC approved perpetual futures contracts for
Perpetual.
crypto. For crypto.
For crypto.
Now, now this means that again, it never expires. It just keeps going. And the underlying is crypto, so Bitcoin and Ethereum and those. These things are traded overseas already, and so that's why they're bringing it here to the U.S. because we don't want to be left behind, and this is great and all that stuff. But overseas in the world, perpetual futures are the number one way to trade crypto, not buying the actual crypto and selling it, but just trading the futures.
Right.
And so that's what they're bringing over here. And then eventually the fear is that they're also going to do perpetual futures on stocks. So you might not even have to buy the stock anymore. You could just buy the futures contract and you have more leverage and you have better tax treatment.
Yeah, this is a little bit bigger.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so who's going to be buying stocks, you know? Um, and then that goes to like, okay, well, if a company goes public and nobody's buying the stock because everybody's trading the futures, like how does the company going to raise money? So there's a whole bunch of questions that are going to
It's
come down the
really
pipeline.
it's like it's like the paper version in a way, right? It's like you're not actually trading it, you're trading the derivative. It's
Exactly.
exactly what
It's
it
a
is.
it's a derivative.
So you're trading not the real thing in a way. So it can be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think
Um,
Japan got into this before we did. I have to check on that, but I think that's the
well,
case.
we've also done this before as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, this we've done this in the past.
We have had single stock futures in the past. Nobody wanted them.
Yep.
Nobody traded them. They went away. I don't even know when it was. I think we have it here somewhere.
No, it is here. I did see it.
Yeah. Um, and so because of this, with the futures and the perpetual futures and whatnot, you have the CME group who just launched this single stock futures. They are now in court with the CFTC. They're suing the CFTC because they're saying that perpetual futures are illegal. They don't want perpetual futures because basically that's going to really hurt their business.
Right.
um, uh, but they're pushing single stock futures, but they're saying perpetual futures are bad, illegal. So I don't know how they're gonna walk the line there, but you know, it's a little interesting, and but definitely it is opening up more options for traders, not options traders, but for regular traders that they can stay away from options in a sense. Now, the other thing that are also coming out, and I got an email from Schwab a couple days ago that hey, this is now available in your account, is binary options. Do you remember these?
Yeah, it's like a all or nothing, right? So
Yeah. So this is something that was
binary.
also this was also done in the past and it also failed because basically you are making a bet that a stock by a certain day will be either above or below a certain price. And that's what you bet on. So it's basically a prediction market for stocks.
Do
You
you
know, you
feel like a lot of this is because of prediction markets?
it might be. I
I
think
mean,
they're scared
they're quietly
as
saying this that like, hey, for us to survive, we need to attract this kind of trading.
yes.
That's how I think about it. But I was interested
Yes,
in,
I think it's a free for all. I think they talk about the AI race. I think this is a race
yeah, I think it is
for
too.
trading dollars and commissions because you have, companies like Robinhood, Coinbase, they're going to be doing the perpetual futures. So can they also be doing single stock futures? Yes. Um, Robinhood's already doing stocks and options. Well,
Right. It's about survival. So they're
and
gonna
Coinbase is getting into stocks and options. And so are some of the other, the places where you could trade Bitcoin or trade cryptos. They're already getting into prediction markets. They're also getting into stocks and options. And now Schwab on the other side is going the other way. So Schwab is like, hey, you could buy crypto now in your Schwab account, like real crypto. And we're adding prediction markets as well. And we're adding this as well. So everybody is, I think they're all after the gamblers. Like it's just
as soon as we see Vanguard cross over on all this, then it's all done.
I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I mean, it's all everybody's going after the gamblers because,
That's where
we
the
take a
money's
look.
at.
That's where the money at, and they see basically everybody looked at the zero DTE options for SPX, right, and how those have exploded. They're like 50% of all options volume, and they grow every month. The rate of growth has astounded everybody. And so everybody sees, the CBOE and they're like, "Oh my God, these guys are making so much money. They're minting money on this stuff. We want a piece of it. And how do we get it away from these people? How do we get our share?" So, uh, that is the thing. So like, I don't know, you tell me, what do you think? Is this going to hurt us as option sellers?
I'm actually going to go a little bit contrary to this because I think I actually have to look at the actual numbers, but we hit all-time highs, right, for trading amount of contracts on zero DTE.
Hmm.
Currently, it's just getting higher more and more and more. I don't know if this will really affect the way we trade, especially when you're trading the SPX or some of the indexes. I don't think it's going to matter um, for those type of uh, instruments. So I don't think it's going to really affect us that much.
But what
Uh,
if you're trading, like but we're not just doing
but
SPX.
you're
Like, what if
right,
we're
but
trading?
potentially yes. I could see it because we went over it, right? You don't have an expiration date. You're thinking about earnings. Okay, why would I do that? I would just rather do what we're, gonna do here. I mean, why would you sit there and, try to deal with earnings, deal with the expiration date, deal with all that stuff?
Yeah, and you don't
Get
have
the
to pay
tax
for it.
treatment. Right. You don't have
It's
to pay
a
for
it,
it,
it's a free
obviously.
hedge. You just put it
Yeah.
on, and if either you either make your money or you lose money on it. And if nothing happens, right? A lot of the times nothing happens on earnings or a Fed announcement or something like that. Let's say we had a Fed announcement today, right? And we needed protection. Okay. If I own a lot of Apple stock, maybe I'll just go and sell some futures contracts instead of buying a put. And if nothing happens, like today, the Fed did nothing. That was expected. My options that I just bought, they're going to lose a lot of value because all of the volatility is going to come out of it. So by the time I
Mhm.
get out of those, I've lost money. Now, if I had a futures contracts instead, I didn't lose anything. So to me, it makes a lot of sense why the professionals would do it, and I think the individuals or the retailer will also get into it. And it's simpler for a new retail trader to even understand. Right? Because otherwise you're like, hey, you got to protect, you got to hedge yourself. And we do this with the club, right? We talk about
Yeah.
hedging in the club, and it's like, okay, well, I want to buy protection because I think something's going to happen. Well, what do I do? Do I buy index options? Do I buy stock options? Do I, what expiration do I buy? What strike do I buy at the
A
money, in
lot,
the
a lot of
money, out of the
decisions. Yeah.
money? I got to worry about data. It's just too complicated. And so if if they have single stock futures they might, I mean, they already have E-mini futures. So you could do this already, right? If you want to just go and short and then protect yourself, you could do that with the E-mini futures. But now you can do it if you're a stockholder. So if you have a big position, this is your ultimate hedge,
Yeah. It still remains to be seen, but you can see it being attractive, of course.
right? So in the past, we've had these before. And so these single stock futures were basically illegal in the US until 2000. And that's when there was a basically a ban on it. That's when they lifted the ban back in 2000. And so two different exchanges started trading these in 2002. One
Mhm.
ended a couple years later, 2004, and then the other one shut down in 2020, and it didn't really pick up. So options beat single stock futures in terms of what people wanted in the past. But now the CME is bringing them back on. Now, the other ones, the two broker or the two exchanges that did them before were relatively small. CME is not. CME is big, and they can push this out to, all the brokerages. And so if it's there on your Schwab account or E-Trade account or Merrill Lynch account or whatever, if it's just there automatically, you might do it. And now with the internet and whatnot, there's going to be tons of little influencer people on
Right.
YouTube talking about, oh yeah, this is the newest thing. This is how you do it.
The
So
education comes along with it, right?
yeah,
So,
so it'll be faster and easier to get started and to learn about it. So yeah, I think this is definitely a threat, but we'll have to see how much it takes off and how much it goes. So it's something to keep an eye on for sure. Um, Now, eventually, they might even have options on these futures. That's going to be the derivative of the derivative.
I know that's going to be the next proliferation of this.
Exactly. That's going to be even crazier. So, um, in that case, then we might have to shift over there because, again, with the leverage, we trade futures options
Hmm.
and we love futures options for several of these
Leverage.
reasons.
Yeah.
The leverage is good, the premium is good, they move faster. Um, But if you bring it up to a stock option on a future, then I mean, we'll
It,
use the same strategies, but we'll have to see how they.
yeah, I mean, of course, it would definitely be interesting to us if that does occur. And I would definitely take a hard look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
The
um,
changing world in front of us here.
yep. So, yeah. What else?
So do you like this? Or do you are you what are your pushbacks on it if any?
I've heard of them in the past. I've never met anybody that actually traded them.
Mhm.
So, um, now in this case, I think people will try them. Um, I think the knowledge is more out there and it's easier to get approved for futures. So the other thing is you got to have a futures account,
Right.
right? You have to have futures approved and you have to be able to trade them. So if you're not, then you can't use these. But I think more and more people are becoming approved for futures. And like at Schwab, you could put them all in one account. In other brokerages, you have to keep them separate. So as more and more brokerages start mixing this stuff together and letting you do everything in one account, I think they will pick up. Um, you know,
That
and
could be a while though. I think this takes a little time. Like this is not just going to happen overnight. Um,
no, no,
you have people that have to get approved. They have to go through all that. The education has to get out there. It has to reach the everyday retail trader. It's just not going to be like a snap and it's successful. But the gate's open,
hmm
right?
yeah. So we'll have to watch, um, what's going on. And basically, they're going to be taking market share from the people I mean, the people who are trading these single stocks in options will be the ones that might switch over. The people who are trading index options, they're not switching because of this. But if you're trading that particular stock and options on that, then yeah, you could probably move over. Now,
It's
I
a
mean,
significant amount, I would say.
yeah, I mean, I'm selling, naked puts on a lot of these stocks, right? And that means that the people that are selling me the put that I'm selling, the people that are buying it, there are going to be few of them. And so I might make less money on my naked put. So my overall amount of money that I'm making now on a naked put might actually go down. So that's something I am definitely concerned about. Um, I don't know if this is going to be the end of naked puts and the wheel, but it might put a big dent on it.
Might be watering it down a little bit.
Yeah. So that they're less players. And so if you want to sell it, you're going to get less money. You used to be able to make more money in the past. Now, just because of less people trading it, you're going to make less. So that's definitely something to look out for. But again, as a retail trader, if I'm only selling five of them, not going to be a big deal. As
Right.
a institution, if I'm selling 5,000,
You're
yeah,
gonna
I
look
will be
for the
affected.
alpha. Yeah, you're gonna be, oh, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
take
I'm
care.
gonna move on to something else.
Which is
'Cause-
considerable amount of money. I mean, it's
Mhm.
we're talking big institutions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Very interesting.
Um, but we'll see how that actually works. Liquidity is important. But then these things might not even survive, right?
But like anything, it fails a few times and then all of a sudden it may stick. And that's
Yeah,
quite possible right now, the way
it's
things are.
possible. Um, I don't think for the binary options that are still in the works and coming, I don't think they will catch on. I think they will be more in the betters area, where the prediction markets are and those type of exchanges. I think the binary options will stay there. And I don't think the more established Schwab's E-Trades will be bringing those on board. And I think those are just basically I think that's basically just gambling.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's a line, right? I think that's the line for that. They're going to be thinking, oh, I'm legacy, trading, and that's outside the spectrum.
yeah.
but we'll see. I mean, we're talking about things that we're talking about, 3, 4 years ago.
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, as individuals, we keep doing what we're doing. Um, and I think for our people, for passive trading, I would not be, so somebody's going to say, okay, hey, I can buy Apple stock or I can buy the future. Which one should I do? What would you say to that?
Well, it's like anything, you have to put them side by side, and you have to have the knowledge to objectively look at them side by side and what they can do for you. So that fits.
Hmm.
I can't sit here and say I would go either way at that point, of
Right.
course.
So,
I
you know,
think
you,
if you gain understanding and you do it a certain way, then you branch out to trying other ways.
yeah. Now, if you take a look at the passive trading formula that we teach, there is a foundation that we say to build, right? Because if you are only trading, let's say you're only trading options and there is a market downturn, you can lose money on your options very quickly, right?
Mhm.
And so now you have a loss and you can't get it back because either it's expired or you got out and you can't get, so that money is gone. And so that is not a good, stable way to live your life. And so what I learned in the great financial crisis was that if you own the asset, there is a chance for the asset to recover in price, even if it goes down a lot. And so the asset I'm talking about is the stocks. So for me, the foundation of my retirement or the foundation of my net worth or whatever you want to call it, the my financial foundation is built on owning something, owning an asset, owning the stock itself, so that I have something of value that can go down, but when things get good, it will go up again, and there's no expiration on that.
Mhm.
If I buy a call option, the thing can expire. So that's not work enough. I want to have it where it doesn't expire. And then I also have the ability to, sell calls against it and actually make some money from it. I also get a dividend. So that's something. And, the other things that we teach, like dripping and all that stuff. So you can actually compound it and dollar cost average or whatever if you want to, and then build it back up again. With these futures contracts, there's no underlying asset. You're not owning anything. You're trading a derivative.
Right. So you're out there kind of in space.
Yeah,
You
so you don't
don't
have
have anything.
anything,
You're not
right?
anchored to anything.
Exactly. And they're highly leveraged. So, one contract is going to be, I don't know, let's say it's $100,000 worth of stock. They only expect you to put up like, 15,000. So you put up $15,000, but you control $100,000 worth of stock. Now, if that stock drops in half, you lose your $15,000, but you owe them another $35,000.
Yeah.
So you just got a massive margin call that
Yes.
you might not be
Um,
able to afford.
so the education needs to be there look, I mean, there could be a lot of casualties out of this as well, if you
Hmm.
don't have the proper education for it.
Right. So that's the biggest thing. And we teach that, when we're talking about in our own program, like, hey, margin is the biggest thing that's going to kill you. Not the oil going up and down, it's going to be the margin. And so in this case, if you are buying futures, you can lose more money than you have in your account.
Right. People don't equate that, right? So,
And yes, they can come after you. They can come to your house.
yeah,
They can.
yeah.
And so you can lose more than you have in your account. With the stock, whatever you bought, that's it. That's your maximum
Like
risk.
the pain ends, right? You have the pain,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it
And
ends.
And you can
It's
hold
like,
on to that stock for like 50 years and eventually it might come back, you
yeah.
know?
For the futures, you keep getting hit. It's like you keep dying.
Yes.
So,
And you're eventually they kick you out of the trade and then you have again you're left with nothing. So there is no foundation. So for that sense, long-term wise, I don't see this as a replacement. For somebody building up their portfolio, building up their retirement account, all that stuff. No, this is not a replacement, but this is a short-term trading instrument that if I want to make a short-term bet going up or down, then maybe I would use this instead of buying the stock. And it is definitely a replacement for options. If you think Apple's going up, then you have a choice. You can buy the stock, which is very expensive. You can buy call options, or now you can buy one of these futures.
yeah.
So
Do you feel like the CME is irresponsible here? Have we lost our way? We're going so far out on the limb here with all these new products. It almost seems like they have to, right? With the way the world's changing with prediction markets. Um, so you could argue it in both sides to
it
some
is
degree.
definitely becoming overwhelming. It's definitely becoming something that it's a race. Again, we mentioned it before.
Yeah,
It is a race to get the dollars of the people who are trading. And they're a business. CME is a business. They have a
same
stock.
thing.
You can actually buy stock in the CME and you could look at it and they just keep going higher and higher because they're getting more and more people to trade their things and more they keep coming out with new things to trade.
Yeah.
And that's how they make
Structurally,
money.
they have to.
That's
So,
their job. Yeah.
yeah.
They can't just be like, okay, we're not going to grow. No, I'm sorry. They're a legit, they're a real business and they have to keep growing their earnings and margins. And that means coming out with new things.
But then
Whether
again,
this,
education becomes paramount again, even more so.
yeah, but that's not their job.
No, no, I'm saying their job for
Yeah.
the investor, the trader, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's more important to them.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. They have to be very careful. Because the CME or whoever, they'll put this stuff out there and they'll
Yeah,
do advertising to get you to start trading it.
sure.
They want you to trade it. So they'll advertise how awesome it is, but then you won't know the risk until you actually lose.
Right. So the
Um,
general
and s-
person out there is it's under false.
yes. And so in the past, so these futures, they are under the preview of the CFTC. Now, in the past, the CFTC has been much stricter than the SEC. They have much stricter disclaimer problems and they go after, lots of companies that are not maybe they are not showing the risks as much, so they're very strict on what you can say and what you cannot say in the futures arena. They are also getting more lenient. It does seem, now the Trump administration, they changed out the head of the CFTC. Those guys are coming out with these perpetual futures. They're approving all of this prediction market stuff. Bitcoin is going under their preview now in the CFTC, and crypto trading is all under them now. So it does look like they are becoming more lenient, and it's like more wild, wild west than regulated specific,
Genie's out of
criminal.
the bottle.
I guess. And now as we're talking, the S&P is actually
Yeah, it
up
is
three
gone
points.
positive.
Yep. So is the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is positive. Dow is still down 1%. Um, but S&P is now flat, and Nasdaq is also about flat. So a
I'm
little bit in
pretty
the
sure
positive.
Warsh said the word growth and it just took off.
Yes, he says even with whoops.
There you go.
He says inflation remains elevated relative to the committee's 2% goal. But he did say the word growth. If that thing changes, I'll put it back up again. But yeah, according to the prediction markets, they were betting on how many times he says oil. Will he say the word oil or not? Will he say the word growth or not? Will he say these other words?
Unbelievable.
They're
Yeah.
betting on all this stuff. So it's insane. But that's the world we live in right now. And
But it creates a lot of opportunities if you're structured and how you look at it, how you parse, how you look at the whole. arena that we're in. So, I mean, you could argue that it creates a lot more opportunity as well.
Yeah, the one thing we don't know yet are the fees, the fee structure. You know,
Yeah.
how much of the commission is going to be, how liquid is are these futures going to be, and so that is also what's the what's the spread on them, how many people are trading them, who's the market makers behind it. That's a whole bunch of stuff we don't know yet, and so these could take off, they could not, but if they become even a little bit popular, then it'll take away a lot of volume from options. Now, on the flip side, maybe you have more people trading than before. And so that lifts all boats. So maybe there's enough market share out there for everybody, you know?
So you say like
Um,
it broadens out, right? So you're
yeah, so like, let's say in the past you only had 5,000 people trading, and so you only had 5,000 accounts or 5,000 contracts that were there. But now if you have 50,000 people trading, then you could have 10,000 people trading options, and that's double what was trading before.
which
So the
could
options
that could
trading
be
grew just because there were more trading people.
right.
So that could also be part of
And that
it.
kind of goes already. I mean, we're already at all-time highs.
I mean, we're close.
Currently,
We're close.
yeah, it said what the second quarter?
All-time highs for what? For the
It
markets?
said in the for
Oh, in terms of trades,
yeah,
how
in terms
many
of trading, yeah.
options trading? Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. In terms of how options are trading, yes, it just continue to grow the number of options that are traded. So,
19% up from last year.
yeah,
Not small.
no, 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 no. So, yeah, things are pretty crazy right now on all fronts.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's gonna. I think it'll be that way at least till we have some resolution in the midterms. That's what it's really about, I see for now.
for the long term for the markets, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be. You expect a lot of volatility and ups and down days and reversals, and um,
Yeah.
that'll be that way for at least a couple months until we have more clarity of what direction we're going.
Yeah, and it's not just I mean, we have the midterms, so they're talking about, okay, there's the Senate and the House. There are also governor races going on.
Hmm.
So like in Texas, the Democrats are trying to flip from Republican to Democrat, and the Democrat person, she's coming up. So she's still way behind, but she's making catching up ground. Um, and this guy Talarico is looking to flip the Senate seat from Republican to Democrat, and he's actually ahead.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
You're on the
So,
ground over there in Texas.
yeah, I mean, I get freaking text messages from both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I don't know how I have never made a political donation to anybody, but I'm getting text messages from both sides like, "Hey, we're ahead. Oh no, we're behind. We need your help. Oh no,
I
we're."
know you get them every morning here. It's like,
It's annoying. Um, but yeah,
those-
so we're on the ground, and they've tried to flip Texas for a while. This guy has the biggest chance. The last guy came close.
he's a young guy, if I remember correctly.
He's
Uh,
very young. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I remember seeing. I think a commercial actually when I was in Texas. So I remember it. Yeah, yeah. Tellerico. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. And then that's just going to be a whole another ball game. Things will shift back and forth, back and forth. So, and then we got after that, we got Trump, lame duck Trump for 2 years. So, I,
Yes. Third term, yes or no?
not if he loses the house, not if he loses the midterms.
What if we're in a
I
I'm
think he
thinking
needs.
worst case scenario here. I shouldn't do that. We're in a war and he pulls some kind of
Oh,
resolution. That's a
so
possibility.
that is possible. Yes,
Yeah.
if we're in a long drawn out war with
I'm gonna stay
troops on the
positive. I
ground,
don't even forget I even brought that up.
if we got troops on the ground, and there is a possibility of that. I
Yeah, he
think
can
it's still
enact.
low. If he doesn't have the Congress behind him, I don't think he can do it.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, anything is possible. Um, I was listening to Diary of a CEO, the
Stephen
podcast.
Bartlett. Stephen
Yeah,
Bartlett.
yeah, and he had a guy on there that was talking. I've talked about him before. He was the expert on this whole Iran war. Um,
Yes, he's very good. I know who you're talking about.
Pope. I think his name was Pope.
Yes.
And he studied this for years, and it was very, very scary the way this guy was explaining. And he goes, well, this happened because of this, and then this happened because of this, and then this happened because of this. Now in the future, this is what's going to happen, and then this
He
is going to
breaks
happen.
it down in phases,
Yeah,
right? He's very
exactly.
sequential. He's like, oh, we're in phase two right
Right.
now. And
Hmm.
you're like, oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute. It
Yeah.
all makes sense.
So what he was saying is that Trump is not backing down because MAGA is very much in favor of the war. And so his base wants the war to continue, even though maybe the general public of the United States is like, what the hell are you doing? But his base is still supportive of the war. Now, he's in a quandary because he can't get the nuclear stuff. He can't get them to stop attacking because of their terrain and the way they've hidden and, their arsenals and whatnot. So the only way that he can win is to put troops on the ground.
Yeah, and he said something like 73. He put it like a 70 something percent chance of that happening. That's what
Yeah,
caught my attention.
yeah. And then if you put troops on the ground, according to this expert guy, if you put troops on the ground, that brings the whole Iranian public against you. And then that opens up the um, the weapon of the suicide bomber, which that's what caught my eye. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you go into somebody else's land and you put troops on their land, then that's when they start doing suicide bombing. Before then, like up till now, we haven't had any suicide bombers, right? We haven't had any terrorists going, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Hmm.
We don't have that. But if you put troops on their land, then that is when that opens up.
More likelihood, yeah.
So it's like, oh boy, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then the other thing is if we lose troops, right? If American soldiers die,
We've already lost some.
we've lost some,
Be real about it.
but then if they die, then you cannot back out as a president because then everybody's going to say, well, then those people just died for nothing.
Right. You didn't finish the job.
You need to finish the job. And so then they go more all in. And so Trump is in a very, very, very bad spot. He cannot be like, okay, we're done. We're going home, because then they're going to lose the midterms. They
Yeah.
can't be like, oh, okay, we're going to go fight and really win because then more people are going to die. And then he's going to be in a forever war for years and they're going to lose the midterms. He wants to have a peace just to last, just to get past the midterms. But now Iran is like, yeah, screw that.
Right. Of course, they know that, so they're going to push on it.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that's not happening. So he's in a bad spot. We're really in a bad spot, and the world is running out of oil.
Right.
You
And
know,
we're apparently running out of munitions, right?
we
So
are we are more than they are.
asymmetric war with all the drones.
We
Uh,
are more than they are, and Iran just bought 400 surface-to-air missiles from China,
yeah.
anti-aircraft. These are like like if you're a guy, you can, like the shoulder launched ones, you put it on your, like a
How
bazooka
many did
type,
you say?
400.
Wow.
So,
So yeah, it was very interesting to me that, Iran, people don't realize how big of a country that is, and
mhm.
that they can hide these drones anywhere, like underground, over here, over there. I mean, they can be deployed, and so we're really in a tough spot about trying to mitigate those drones. They
Yes,
have
they
so
have a
many.
million person army.
Right, and they can make them. So yeah, right, of course.
I mean, you can make a drone for 20 grand,
Yeah.
and they were the ones that were supplying Russia with all the drones. Iran
Mhm.
was. So
Yeah.
Ukraine's making their own. Iran was making them for Russia. So they know how to do it, and they know how to do it fast. Um, and they have a million person army. So, you send in 20, 30,000 troops, that's not going to be enough,
No, no.
especially with this terrain.
Ugh.
I mean, this
Yeah,
is the Afghanistan terrain. This is
yeah.
mountainy and rocky, and
Even
it's,
might be even more so, I think, in Iran.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is a bad, bad.
Let's say we don't have the money.
Well, yeah. Well, the Defense Department or the War Department has an
Yeah.
open checkbook. They can spend whatever they want. Um, for now. But if they lose the midterms, then the money's turned off too. Then Congress will vote against it and be like, no, no more money for the war.
Yeah.
So it's all depending on the midterms and
Which is rapidly approaching. You know,
rapidly
turn
approaching.
the turning towards the fall now. So
We are definitely in a weird spot. Uh, and in terms of the overall market, we were talking about this before, or I don't know. I think we were talking about here too. I'm expecting more downside than upside.
I am too, on all fronts.
Why would you say that?
Well, I'm thinking like with the AI, it's an unknown. There is a complete the Mag 7 are essentially holding up the market. Everybody knows that. Um, our bond market is fragile, right? We can't, if we raise rates, we're in trouble. Can't do that. Inflation's stubborn. The war, we have all these, call it ceilings above us, right? So I think there's more likelihood it to go down and stabilize somewhere as opposed to go up continually. Because AI is the big question. And everyone's talking about, oh, AI can outgrow everything, but that's no one knows this, right? We're in the
Hmm.
unknown.
Yeah.
So I think there's more potential to the downside as opposed to the up going forward. And that's not to be pessimistic. That's just kind of looking at everything in totality.
Yep. Yep.
What do you think?
Um, the so we have earnings today from Meta and Microsoft, and everybody wants to know how much money are they spending, right? On the CapEx. How much money are they spending on because Google said, "Hey, we're going to spend more," and their stock went down. Nobody liked it. And so if you are one of these big guys, hyperscalers, and you say, "Hey, we're going to spend more money," your stock's going to go down.
Mhm.
But if you come out and say, "Hey, we're going to spend less money," the stock is still going to go down. Because then
Because
that's
no one knows how to value these things.
yeah, because if
Or
people are like, well, then you're going to lose the thing, and that means it's not working, and that means you're failing, and so the stock's going to go down. So they're screwed if they
you're almost
do, screwed if they don't.
you're almost applying like a legacy, like the past framework to what's coming, right? And we don't know how to value that, right? I mean,
And we also don't know when it ends.
I,
Like they
yeah,
could keep
I mean, when
spending
when
and
is
spending and spending. It's an AI race. We have to beat China. Okay, who wins? Like where's the finish line?
what does that look like?
Exactly.
I mean, what does that look like?
Like, do they have to spend $1 trillion a year from now until forever?
Right, and what's the value of your money that you're actually holding?
So,
Um, Very interesting.
hmm yep. And then we had the whole China thing with their cheap models versus the American expensive models, and um, so yeah.
No, it's not to be negative, but it's very it's a complex puzzle and it's changing each day and you could argue that it's getting more complicated, right?
Hmm.
But for things to evolve, there's a lot of uncertainty um, that has to take place, honestly, for change. So I think it's just different things playing out.
Yes, sir. Um,
So
yep.
positive day. We were down close to 90 points today.
Yes,
On the
sir.
index. Did you get a double dip in today?
I did get a double dip.
You did. All right.
I did.
That must
Um,
have been pretty nice. That was pretty quick.
I'm still in it. I should have gotten out of this already. Oh, because it's too late. Yeah, so it's flat. I mean, that's going to be a full winner, 40 cents. I'll let that expire.
So does your automated does it do a GTC if you choose?
It does to get out, like an exit order to get out. Yes, it does until a certain time frame. So,
Ah,
the exit order will stay on, I think it's till like central time, like 1:30,
mhm.
and then after 1:30, the order drops off. And so then it just goes to expiration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we were noticing that, you know, after 1:30, the trade's still working. It didn't get down to 5 cents. It might be at 10 cents. And so it just needs a little bit more time. And so then by 1:30, you kind of know, okay, yeah, this trade's a winner. And then if you get out at 5 cents, you're like, oh, I just paid money and commissions to get out for no reason. So, yeah, the
You
exit
can
order.
technically, you can manually intervene if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that order is there in your account. You can just cancel the order and it'll go away. You can get out yourself whenever you want, you know. Um, and so if you want to get out early, like I was in the double dip and before the Fed announcement came in, and I was looking at it and had sold it for 40 cents and it was trading at 20 cents. So roughly I made 20 cents already. I could have gotten out before the Fed announcement, and you just go in and just a regular order, you just exit and close it, close or select it, and just done. So I could have taken profits and just walked away. I decided just let it run because it's so far away from the
true to
money.
your word. You said this in the group. You said you're going to let it run.
I was well. I think the question was, are you going to do market power or not do market power because it's
Right.
such a.
Yeah. Right. And
And I
we
said
differ.
I just turned
Yeah.
them all on. Like, I didn't turn anything off. I let all the trades run. So the other trade, the good morning trade, just got out at a profit 3 grand. So that one worked
I took
amazing.
the Phoenix off today for a win early.
The Phoenix,
I did.
I took a lotto win early.
I did. I didn't get a big one,
Uh,
but I got a couple. I think it's 300 bucks.
yeah. Yeah. So I took a lotto win. I took the double dip is going to win. And then the good morning also won today. So, definitely, you know, uh, over, I think $3,500 for me today.
Pretty
So
nice.
pretty
Pretty nice.
nice. Pretty nice. And I didn't touch it. Not at all. I didn't touch anything. It's just doing its own thing. Um, so like last week, I was sick in bed for 2 days. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get out of bed to save my life, and the thing made 4 grand in 2 days.
That's incredible. It really is. I mean, to say that.
Yep, that's it's the future. This is really cool.
Yep.
So, uh, but okay, so yeah, so just to recap, right? Single stock futures are coming. They might be something we can take a look at. I mean, we'll look at it. I'm going to look at it, and if it's something worth it, we'll put it in the club and we'll teach our people how to do it. If it's better than buying options and as a hedge, let's use it. Let's do it. Let's learn it. Let's and teach our people in the club. And then there's also the binary options, which I'm probably going to stay away from because those are just plain on gambling. Um, Perpetual futures are going to be on cryptos, so that's not something we kind of mess with much. And then if they do come out for stocks, then we'll take a look at it at that time. But
Agree fully. I don't like the binary 50-50.
yeah, and that's
That's
like if you want
just gambling. Like I'd rather just go to actually I'd rather just go to the casino and put it on red or black.
to, it is the same thing, but
Same
you
thing,
know
but
the
at least I'll be
casinos
present for it.
the casino is so much more boring now. Now that I trade, like the
Oh, I said
casino,
this a million times. I said this a million times. I used to love going to the Atlantic City and playing blackjack, and now I walk around. I'm like, what are you doing? I can't do it. I can't even put a. It's sad because I enjoy it, but I'm like, I can't even put a trade down. I'm like, I rather trade options than do that.
exactly. Yes.
Like, what are you doing?
I have a trip for to Vegas in September, and somebody was asking me yesterday. I was talking to somebody who's also going to the thing, and he was asking me, he's like, "Hey, you're gonna gamble?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I gamble all day, every day.
Every day.
I get my fix. I don't need to go
Yeah,
to Vegas. I don't care."
it's so interesting. And have you ever walked around the casino? I know you have. Like you go around the casino and you're just like, imagine all these people if they knew. how to trade options. Like
I feel really bad for those
it
old
would
people
be,
sitting at the slot
oh yeah,
machines.
just smoking and sitting there and just bing, 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 hitting it over and over again. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is just a total waste of your life, the slot machine. It's just like,
Yeah,
what are you doing? Like, I don't even know what the hell's going on. They're just hitting buttons, you know?
they are
Uh,
just like the ultimate just wish. And I was that way I mean, I realized it fully in Alaska when I was on a cruise up there. And they had the casino and opened up and it was before dinner and we used to go on, gamble.
hmm
And this time I just walked around and I was like, all right, I'm gonna, play a little blackjack. I couldn't even do, I just couldn't even do it. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I just can't. Because I know all the odds. I'm like, no way. No way.
I want an 80% chance of winning.
No, I don't want to give you my money. No, absolutely not.
Exactly. This is
Yeah,
chance. No, I don't want to take a chance.
no way. I'd rather be 80% of the money,
Yep.
at least.
Yeah. So,
But
well,
it changes you.
it
Come
does.
on in.
It does. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the to channel, please go ahead and do that. Send this to a friend if you thought it was helpful, and leave your comments below. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Friday.
Yep, this Friday. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about all the crazy things that are happening that are going to send the market down 20%.
Yeah, I think we should talk about all the
The
potential catalysts,
threats. The threats.
the portfolio threats out there.
The coming bear market. Dun
Yeah,
dun
and
dun.
rank them.
All right, my friend. I'll